Congratulations! If you're watching this video, you've already completed inspections, reviewed the inspection report, negotiated any repairs, and decided to move forward with the purchase. For many Texas buyers, this was actually the most stressful part of the home purchase transaction. Now that the option period is over, the process changes significantly. Instead of negotiating, we're now preparing for closing. Before we continue, we want to mention a resource that many of our buyers find extremely valuable. You should have already received a guide from Elena called, How to Save Thousands Before, During, and After the Purchase of Your Home. This guide contains dozens of money-saving ideas related to loans, inspections, negotiations, surveys, appraisals, closing costs, contractors, property taxes, and long-term homeownership. Throughout this video series, we may occasionally refer to topics that are covered in greater detail inside that guide. If you have not received a copy yet, please contact Elena Garrett and ask for it as soon as possible. Many buyers save hundreds or even thousands of dollars simply by understanding opportunities that most homebuyers never realize exist. Now let's talk about the people who will be helping move your transaction toward closing. One thing that surprises many buyers is that the transaction often becomes very quiet for a while. During the option period, it may have felt like somebody was calling, texting, or emailing you every day. Once the option period ends, there may be several days where nobody contacts you at all. That is completely normal. It doesn't mean nothing is happening. In fact, several different companies have just started working on your file behind the scenes. The easiest way to understand the rest of the transaction is to understand who the major players are and what role each person performs. During the house hunting phase, most buyers primarily interact with their real estate agent. Once you're under contract, several additional professionals become involved. Each person has a different role. During your first week under contract, we strongly recommend creating a simple contact list. Write down the names, phone numbers, email addresses, and job responsibilities of everyone involved in your transaction. One of the most common causes of frustration is asking the right question to the wrong person. Your loan officer may not know the answer to a title question. Your escrow officer may not know the answer to a loan question. By the end of the first week, you should know who the major players are and who to contact when questions arise. Understanding who is responsible for what will make the rest of the transaction much smoother. Your real estate agent helps coordinate the overall transaction, answer questions, monitor deadlines, schedule walkthroughs, and communicate with the other parties involved. If you're not sure who handles a particular issue, ask Elena or your agent, as they are managing the overall transaction and understand everyone's roles and responsibilities. Your loan officer is responsible for discussing loan programs, interest rates, monthly payments, loan estimates, and financing options. Your loan processor or loan coordinator is often the person collecting documents, sending requests, tracking deadlines, and helping move the loan through the approval process. Your insurance agent helps obtain homeowners insurance and/or the home warranty options and provides information that may be required by your lender before closing. The escrow team works for the title company. The title company holds your earnest money and option fee in a special account called an escrow account, examines any existing surveys and orders a new survey if needed, holds checks meant to pay contractors, holds any deposits, coordinates the closing process, schedules signing appointments, and helps manage the transfer of ownership. The title company also researches the ownership history of the property, studies and prepares title documents, works with the lender to understand existing liens against the house and property tax requirements, and prepares the title work needed for closing. In Texas, title company also has a lawyer that will be working with both sellers and buyers to make sure that any issues that might prevent the transaction from proceeding from the standpoint of chain of ownership are cleared, liens and judgments are released, old outdated info on land restrictions are updated, and so on. Another thing that's helpful during the first week is learning a few common terms that you'll hear throughout the transaction. You have probably already heard the word appraisal. An appraisal is an opinion of value prepared by a licensed appraiser. The appraisal helps the lender determine whether the property's value supports the price being paid. An appraisal is different from an inspection. An inspector evaluates the condition of the property like the HVAC, the windows, the attic, etc. An appraiser looks at homes that sold nearby, looks at their features, and decides which of those homes are the closest match to your property. He or she then compares their final sold prices with the home you are purchasing and delivers an opinion of value that the lender then uses as a part of your home loan package. Appraisal is a standard process, and in most cases, you will need to pay for an appraisal. Ask your lender the estimate for the appraisal costs and whether the appraisal costs could be waived in your case. We'll discuss appraisals and their impact on financing in much more detail in the mortgage video. You may also hear the word survey. A survey is an official measurement and drawing of the property that both the lender and the title company will use to add to their own files. The survey helps identify where the property begins, where it ends, and whether any improvements create potential issues. The survey shows property lines, no-build lines, easements, fences, pools, sheds, driveways, and other elements of the land. If purchasing a new survey is required, the title company will be the one that will manage that process. The cost of the survey varies based on the size of the lot. Ask your agent to clarify who is responsible for the survey costs based on your purchase contract. Another common word you will hear is disclosure. A disclosure is simply information that one party is required to provide to another party. Some disclosures come from the seller. Some come from the lender. Some come from the title company. Whenever you hear the word disclosure, think, this is information I should review carefully as it may affect my costs, my rights, or my future experience with the house. Loan estimates. You'll almost certainly receive one or more loan estimates. A loan estimate is a projection of what your loan might look like. It shows estimated interest rates, monthly payments, closing costs, and the amount of money needed to close. Don't be surprised if you receive multiple versions during the transaction. As loan options change, the estimates may change as well. You may also hear people refer to escrow. Escrow simply means that a neutral third party is temporarily holding money or documents until all requirements of the transaction have been satisfied. In most Texas transactions, the title company performs this role. At some point, you'll receive something called a title commitment. This is one of the most important documents in the transaction. All title documents show restrictions on your land or home ownership rights in one way or another. Think of it as a preliminary report about issues affecting your ownership rights that comes from the title company. It explains who currently owns the property, what restrictions may affect the property, and what issues must be resolved before ownership can be transferred to you. Most buyers ignore the title commitment documents, but we recommend calling the title company after you receive your title commitment, asking to speak with your escrow officer, and asking the escrow officer to go over any items that you might need to be aware of. Please note that title documents are highly specialized legal documents that cannot be reviewed by your realtor or the lender. Only the title company should help you to interpret the information contained in the title paperwork. If the property is located in an HOA, you'll probably receive a resale certificate and a variety of different HOA documents. These documents contain information about dues, assessments, rules, restrictions, and the financial condition of the association. Please note that sometimes the HOA bylaws contain some restrictions that you might find important to your future ownership experience. Do not ignore them and read through them, or ask your agent, or ChatGPT, or your favorite AI to help you to understand the main provisions. But please remember that neither your agent nor ChatGPT are trained lawyers, so for complicated legal issues, always check with the title company as they often have a lawyer on staff. Finally, you'll hear the phrase cash to close. Cash to close is the amount of money you'll need to bring to closing after all credits, deposits, earnest money, and financing have been taken into account. Don't worry if some of these terms still sound confusing. The goal of this first video is not to turn you into a real estate expert. The goal is to help you recognize the major players, understand the basic vocabulary, and know who to contact when questions arise. In the next video, we'll walk through what your first week under contract typically looks like and what tasks you should focus on during that critical first week.